Call the roll.
Alacone, Alatorre, Burnson, Schiff, Mueller, Vornich, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present and quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, the council will please come to order. This is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 4th day of February 1998. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. So the first order of business.
Approval of minutes.
All right, Mrs. Chick moves, Ms. Goldberg second. There's no objections, unanimous vote. Next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Yeah, unanimous vote if there's no objections. Next item.
Items noticed for public hearings, items 1 through 4. Item number 1, we received a request from the applicant to continue to February 24th. Motion required.
Item 1, there's no objections. Mr. Fuhr moves. That'll be the order. Now we have 2. We have somebody who wants to be heard on 2, 3, and 4. Anybody want to be heard on 3 or 4? If not, prepare the roll on 3 and 4. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Those are approved forthwith on 3. And two, we haven't done 2. Okay, 2, we have, we're going to go through the agenda first. Diane? Yeah, okay. We'll get back to 2 in a minute. Next item.
Item number 4, hearing a motion request required to grant application.
We did 3 and 4.
Items for which public hearings have been held, item 5, 7 through 8.
Mr. President, I'd like to call 5 special because we're submitting an amendment and it has not yet been passed out. So we could either call it special or leave it on the desk until we finish the other items.
Yes, 5. And is 6 included in there? Okay. Yeah, but are there any,
It's appropriate that when we go into closed session that we hear from our attorneys about 6 and 9 in closed session.
if you want, yes.
I really do. I read the reports, but I really have
Okay.
a number of questions.
Okay, we'll call 6 special also, and 9. What items are we, 5 and 7 through 18?
7 through 18.
Okay.
Mr. President, it was 5 you were going to hold on the desk or either
Yes, we're going to call it special.
Yeah.
So we have, these are, hearings have been held.
I'd like to call 10 special for questions.
10 is called special. So we have 7 through 18 with the exception of 6, 9, and 10. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Yeah, the ordinance on 7 will go over 1 week. Okay, the next item.
Okay. The next items for which public hearings have not been held, items 6, 19, and 27.
Oh, we
And
call 6
6 was
special.
called special.
19 and 20.
20 are received and filed.
19 and 20, both are receive and file?
Yes, Mr. President.
I'd like to ask that we hold 19 till Friday.
It's
We'll
a receive.
I understand, but I don't want to receive and file it until we've had one more conversation with the owner.
Okay. There's no objection. 19 will be held continued until Friday. 20 is received and filed. There's no objection. That'll be the order. Next item.
Closed items.
Aren't they going to vote on that? Did you vote on that?
We have, so we have, yeah,
20
20.
through 27.
20 to 27. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Those are approved, and then 28 are executive session items, we'll hold those on the desk.
And 28B, a motion is required. It's going to be continued till next week at the request of the police department.
Okay, there's no objections. That'll be the order. Mrs. Chick moves. Unanimous vote on 28B. Okay, the next item.
Okay, item number 2 called special.
Item 2, we have a Isaac Powell that wants to be heard, and we also have a Jim Childs that wants to be heard. Could we have some quiet in the council chamber, please?
Good morning. My name is Jim Childs. I'm with the North University Park Community Association. I'm here for the record to say that the mitigated negative deck that is attached to this item is legally deficient. It fails to address the segmented nature of the demolition on this site. I would ask you to separate this project at this time. There is community support for 2 of those sites for conditional use for parking on this residentially zoned land. But the 3rd site involved a illegal demolition, and there is community opposition to the further erosion for surface parking into the residential neighborhood. I would also ask you, because this is a citywide problem, we have a church that needs parking fundamentally one day of the week. Its solution is to take residential adjoining property to satisfy that demand. I would ask the council to look at other solutions that could be implemented not just for this case but for other ones. For example, within a 6-block area there are 2 public schools whose surface parking lots sit vacant and locked. And if we could have some sort of leadership so that those spaces could be utilized for the rest of the community, it might go a long way to solving problems like this. Thank you.
Okay, Isaac Powell.
My name is Isaac Powell, and I'm here on behalf of Ward AME Church, and I'm here to ask the council to adopt and accept the findings of the Board of Zoning Appeals in this matter, and to deny the appellant's appeal, and to grant the conditional use permit as the Board of Zoning Appeals recommended. 2 things of correction is that the property being taken for the parking lot is not public property or other people's property. It's the church's property. The church has owned this property for more than 50 years, and they've been parking on it for that long. I think that a review of the record will show that all of the relevant elements have been considered by the Board of Zoning Appeals, and they were also considered by the zoning administrator, Mr. Landini, and so we would respectfully request that the council adopt those findings, grant the conditional use. Thank you.
Okay, those are all the cards we have, so the public hearing is closed. Mr. Ridley Thomas, did you want to be heard on this? Item number 2.
Mr. President, I rise to support the Plum Committee report. They have looked at this matter with great care. The effort on the part of this well-established institution in our community of long-standing note to make the necessary improvements to the environment, to make parking more reasonable for the parishioners of this congregation. The Ward AME congregation seems to me to be fully consistent with what it means to improve the quality of life. I'm pleased that the Plum Committee shares that point of view. Therefore, I rise to support the committee in its effort to deny the appeal. I thank you and would appeal to the council to do likewise.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yeah, Mr. President, members of the council, this particular issue impacts my district in that it's almost across the street. And I understood the issue when it came before Plum, and I had a chance to cast a vote. And I cast my vote to basically deny the appeal also. At the same time, what the appellants were protesting, and I think it's important that we as a council recognize, is that Building and Safety, working through CRA, issued a permit that should not have been issued for demolition without the proper process. And if you all remember, I came to you before when the historical structure was destroyed because of that process. And I think that's what the appellants are trying to point out, and I wanted to make sure that we understood that as a city, we have adopted ordinances and rules and regulations to try and protect structures. And when they're not followed, it creates these kinds of hardships. Now, I also understood the need for the parking, and the reality is that the building was already demolished. But if you remember the debate we had with the McClay building and the debate we had regarding historical structures, the reality is I don't believe it's the intent of the council for that to happen. And we have to continue to oversee departments to make sure that these kinds of mistakes are not made. Ultimately, the building might have been demolished, might not have been demolished. What I'm trying to say right now is, and what I think the appellants were saying, is it did not go through the process. But I also recommend the Plum recommendation that we deny the appeal.
Okay, we have item number 2 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That is approved.
Mr. President, forthwith to the mayor, please.
Forthwith on that. Next item.
Item number 5.
Item 5, we're going to hold that for the, hold that on the desk. Huh? Yeah, okay. Okay, well, I have to step out on that one. Okay, next item.
Item number 6.
Item 6 is, we're going to hold that in executive session.
Item number 9, also closed session. Item number 10, call special by Ms. Goldberg.
Ms. Goldberg, you called 10 special? Renee?
The question I had is, the funding of this is $1,300,000. There was $2 million in 96, 97, and these are HCDBG funds. And so I guess the question was, and I guess I signed this, so I must have been there, but I guess I was asleep at the wheel. I don't recall an evaluation of the program. Did we get an evaluation? Is it working? I don't mind spending the money if it's actually doing what it's supposed to do, but I looked through my notes, I couldn't find anything on whether we had done an evaluation on how effective the program is. And maybe, and I was there. I was at the meeting and I didn't ask.
Yeah, the program has never really been implemented according to the way the council had agreed that it should be implemented, because the police department was trying to seek the funding so that they could play their role. They were able to find funding for this upcoming year's program, and they'll be working with street maintenance to basically pick up bulk items and set aside a task force so that task force could try to investigate those illegal dumpsters.
Okay.
But what happened is we were voting on additional funds for a program that basically did not have the law enforcement component as part of it. We then had a meeting with law enforcement, with street maintenance,
Okay.
and the program will just begin.
So the program will now begin.
Right.
And we have a kind of a baseline number, and then we'll be able to judge its effectiveness.
Exactly,
from
and at that meeting, we did request information as to the success of the program.
Okay.
But it's just barely going to be implemented the way the council intended.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know.
Okay, we have item number 10 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That is approved.
Mr. President, can I ask for reconsideration on item 17 for purpose of having a limited public hearing from the appellant who is here?
We did have, this was a public hearing item, but is there any objection to reconsideration, item 17? Seeing none, the matter is before us. Ms. Sikowski asks that we have a public hearing on item number 17, so we have a Florence Klein, is it? Florence Klein? You want to be heard on this?
I'd like to say a few words.
Okay, you're welcome.
I feel that I've been overcharged by the Department of Water and Power for sewer charges for the past 20 years. And I understand that, let me see this, that they want, that the Department of Water and Power wants to go back 1 year retroactive adjustment. And I don't think that's fair, and I feel that that the Department of Water and Power has been stealing money from me. And if necessary, then I'll join the class action group that I understand is.
I think we should point out that this is not a water and power bill. It's on the bill, it's the same
City
bill as the water
Works.
and power.
Okay,
but it's-
Public Works.
But it's Public Works, so.
Public Works.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. President, I might point out, this is a sewer service charge for which normally there is a 30-day retroactivity, but given the particular circumstances of this case, we are going back to a charter section which allows it to go for 1 year, and that's very unusual. We do not normally do this, but it's a very unusual factual case. And so we are going over and above what we normally would do.
Okay. Mrs. Klein, are you finished?
Well, I certainly don't think that 1 year is really enough. And is there anything else I can do?
Talk to your council member.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, members of the council, is there any discussion? Ms. Sikowski, did you want to be heard on this one?
That we had heard this twice in Public Works Committee, and it was through the action of the committee that we helped discover another section of the charter that we were able to grant further retroactivity than just the 30 days. So this initial appeal came in 1996, and it was granted for 96 and 97, and we were able to grant a further year retroactivity. But beyond that, the city has a statute of limitations. We cannot go further back than that, and it was recognized as an error from this point forward, and through the period of retroactivity that we are legally allowed to cover, it has been granted. But at this point, I think that exhausts all of the remedies that are available to the city for the granting of this case.
All right, thank you. Okay, prepare the roll on item 17. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Yeah.
I filled out a card to speak on this issue.
Well, we didn't get your card, and it's really not a public hearing item, you know, and we just, we allowed Mrs. Klein to speak.
Well, I'm her son-in-law, and I'm very involved with some of her affairs.
Do we have anything else different to say than she has?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead and say
I'd
it.
just like to point out that Mrs. Klein has been down for a number of meetings with the representatives from the city council, and although this woman has been on this property since 1947, has another 2 homes since 1961, and these wages from the Department of Power, of City Works rather, she's been paying sewer taxes for 2 different sewer taxes since 1978. That's 20 years of being charged for 2 different sewer lines, and it's only in the last, since 1996, that she was made aware that, in fact, that there may have been a problem with the fact that she's been paying twice what the sewer charges were supposed to be. And I'm aware that it's been explained by the city council members that the attorney's office says that by the clarifications in the charter, that it's only allowed to go back at one time for 30 days, and they've gone back for 1 year now. But still, what we're looking at, I just wanted to go on record for Mrs. Klein as letting everybody know that there's been 19 years that different people in these districts that are constituents and that vote the council members in have been being charged for 19 years. Some of them have had double the sewer charges.
Thank you very much.
And I just don't think that that's right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, members, item number 7, we have an ordinance on that, and we didn't think we were going to have 12 members today, so we asked that go over 1 week, and Mr. Holden has moved reconsideration of the ordinance on 7 so we can vote on it today.
Aye, sir.
Okay. We have the ordinance on 7 before us. Prepare the roll. tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
And that is approved. Next item.
Item number 5.
Mr. Wax? Yeah. No, just,
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 5, council members, has an amendment to it that would amend out of it, the motion that was passed that Mr. Burnson made about attaching a bond to the street cut fees. And if they're members from the Public Works from Street Department, if they would come forward, Mr. Scott, and the attorney, Mr. Montgomery. Is Mr. Montgomery here? Yes. It's pretty self-explanatory on this, but Mr. Montgomery, perhaps you would give some further explanation here as to why this amendment is necessary.
My friend Rudy. Jerry Montgomery, Assistant City Attorney. It is our office's recommendation that the ordinance amending 6202 and 6204 as initially presented to you last week be adopted in lieu of the proposed amended ordinance pursuant to Mr. Burnson and Hernandez's motion. This is based on legal implications, and I could explain it in more detail if you wish to go into closed session, but it's the legal impact of the amended ordinance that we would recommend that it be not adopted and the initial ordinance be adopted.
All right, members of the council, we heard this yesterday in Budget and Finance. This issue wound up on that agenda, and it's too complicated to explain why, but it was there, and we heard extensively from council on this. And if you do have questions or want to discuss it, we're going to do a closed session on other items, and I would suggest that we do closed session on this one. But all this does is amend that bond requirement out of the ordinance. Pardon? The clerk says this substitutes the original ordinance for the one we have today.
That'll be the motion?
Do we need to substitute, or do we just amend this so that the other ordinance can go forward?
In either way, you'd have to go to second read. It would have to go back on first reading.
Second reading, yes.
Yeah.
But the other ordinances that were with this will not go to second reading. Right, okay.
All right. So that'll be Ms. Walters' motion. It's second. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick.
Yes, now that I've heard we're going into closed session on another item and that Councilmember Walters is suggesting further discussion of this could occur at that time, I also had a question about the fact that some of the utility companies are saying that they have prior legal contracts and agreements with the city that would preclude our doing this, and I had wanted to hear from our city attorney on that and leave it up to you whether that's something we can discuss in open session, which is always preferable.
Yes, virtually every industry affected by this ordinance has made some argument one way or the other as to the inapplicability of the ordinance to them. It is our view that none of those have legal merit. The closest one, and the one that's been discussed most frequently, is the Southern California Gas Company. Their contention is that the specific language of the franchise, which they obtained from the city in 1992, exempts them from the payment of any further fees associated with using the streets, cutting the streets, filling the streets, etc. It is our advice that the language of that franchise and the history surrounding the negotiations of the franchise does not make it so sufficiently clear that we are prepared to say at this time that they are in fact exempt. We continue to discuss the matter with them. They continue to argue their point, and we continue to review it and analyze it, but that's the status of that.
And based on that, then you're comfortable with our going ahead with this, and other discussions can proceed, but are not a reason to pause in this?
That is correct, and if in fact they are correct and we are not correct, there is a legislative finding in the prelude to the ordinance that specifically recognizes that anyone falling within that category is exempt, so there's no need to further amend the ordinance, in our view.
Okay, thank you. Then, and this was an adequate answer to my question that I wouldn't need to go into closed session.
Chair recognizes Councilman Hernandez.
I just wanted to, I'm trying to get a clear definition from the city attorneys, because when they say that the gas company might be exempt, might not be exempt, they kind of separate that franchise agreement from other franchise agreements that are out there. But in developing that franchise agreement, we also required the gas company put up a bond of $500,000, guaranteeing the quality of their work, which is the basis for our questioning or instituting this fee. Now, I'm asking the question because if we required them to put up a bond and now we're dealing with the whole ordinance of bonds, I would think that as a company that I might be being treated differently from everybody else.
I have not heard that argument made by the gas company. It's my understanding that the bonding requirement is universally applicable under provisions of 6202 and 6204, or at least at the discretion of the department, depending upon the circumstances. So the bonding is not associated with the street cut fee or street deterioration fee.
So then, in closed session, you explain to us the difference, because, see, I don't think we should vote on any of these actions till we have the closed session. And we can basically straighten all this out, because here Mrs. Walters' motion is asking us to separate the bonding part. Yet we have franchise agreements in place that require it.
If I may explain that, the discussion...
But the bond is required to basically expressly or to guarantee the quality of work.
There is a fee and a bond currently required under the provisions of the A permit and B permit provisions. Those will remain in place. The motion that Mr. Burnson made and you seconded would require a further payment of a cash deposit or a further bond to assure that the work was sufficiently corrected after the repair was made. Mrs. Walters' motion goes to that second, that is the additional bond and the additional cash deposit, which would be imposed under the amended ordinance, which is not required under the initial ordinance. Again, the initial ordinance still requiring a bond
Don't get me wrong.
connection with the permit.
You're an attorney, and you use the words additional on everything except a fee. Now, I think that we should be talking about this whole matter in closed session right now. It's bothersome to me, because what I'm arguing is you shouldn't be charging an additional fee. We shouldn't have an additional bond. You're saying we can have an additional fee, we can't have an additional bond, and you're confusing me.
Okay, the only additional bond would be imposed by the ordinance that was generated as a result of
But the
Mr.
initial
Burnson and your
ordinances
motion.
we passed put an additional fee.
It put a different fee, an additional, yes, and different fee for a
Additional,
different activity.
Okay, that's why I think we should be talking about this in closed session. I think...
All right. Before Ms. Walters speaks, the second item, the chair recognizes Councilwoman Miskowski.
I just wanted to clarify, I think, what Mr. Hernandez asked, that the issue on 5C, the only area where the council had amended one of the ordinances last week for the question of the bond was the third ordinance, which is 5C. So the other two ordinances can go forward today as intact because they weren't amended. The issue of the concern on the executive session relative to the bond, if we want to go further, is only on 5C. And I think what the city attorney has explained is that the bond provision is in conflict with the fee itself, and that's sort of a redundancy there for only that third portion of that third ordinance. So I think that we could go forward as suggested by Councilmember Walters and adopt the A and B ordinances, which are other implementing ordinances, and discuss further C if we would like in executive session.
All right, Chair recognizes Councilwoman Walters. Passes. Councilman Hernandez.
You know, members of the council, I just don't understand what our urgency is to institute a fee that the city attorney has said we could be liable. Now, they have said, the gas company, we're still just having those discussions. They haven't told us that legally we can impose a fee on that franchisee without running the risk of them basically trying to sue us. And that is a part that I keep on asking, because I think that within 30 days that should be resolved. We should know whether we can do this or not. Now, if the city attorney is looking forward to that lawsuit, then they should tell us that. But we are dealing with a bond issue, and when I talk about the bond issue, there's a franchise agreement that requires a bond for the quality of work. And that franchise gives them the right to do the work. And we charge them a fee for that franchise. Now we're calling it something else, and we're saying it's a different kind of fee. And so I'm asking the question because we're going to cast this vote again, and all I've been asking is to answer the legal question from the perspective of this franchise that we've already granted, this right we've already granted, and charge a fee to grant, and ask for a bond to basically guarantee the quality of the work. And it's a fee we might not be asking other people to pay. So now we want to ask other people to pay it and them to pay it, in addition to what they're already doing. I think we're welcoming a lawsuit.
Chair recognizes Councilman Fuhrer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Having been through an extensive discussion in Budget and Finance yesterday that was both in open session and illuminating in closed session, as much as I hate closed sessions, I'm going to move that we vote on the whole thing following a closed session discussion. Because some of the questions we asked yesterday, about which I want to at least apprise our colleagues, can only be discussed having heard the answers yesterday in closed session.
All right,
Because they
Mr.
implicate
Fuhrer's
litigation.
motion then, I think, would be to hold this entire matter on the table till we finish the rest of the agenda, then go into executive session, and then come back out and vote and have further discussion in open session. That is the motion I hear. Is there objection to that? If not, let's hold.
Yes, Mr.
All right, Ms. Walters?
Chair, council members, we passed these last week. The only thing that is before us is this amendment to one of the ordinances. It's not, it seems to me, germane to that amendment to re-argue the entire matter. And so I would suggest that I would move that we do go into closed session, but only for the purpose of the discussion of the amendment to one of the ordinances that is before us now. The other ordinances are here for second reading and should be voted on here today without further discussion.
Mr. Fuhrer, do you have any? Ms. Walters is suggesting we vote on A and B and only go into executive session on.
With due respect for Ms. Walters' position, at a minimum, I think that the council needs to hear what some of the legal debate was yesterday in closed session, what some of the questions were and what some of the answers were, because they go not only to C, but also to the legitimacy of A and B. We may choose collectively to support the thing after we've had an opportunity to hear that. I may choose to do that, but I want to have a full discussion of that for the council members who didn't have an opportunity to hear it yesterday, and it was important.
All right, then open the roll on, with the first motion is a procedural one, with Mr. Fuhrer's motion to hold the matters on the table and go into executive session on the entire matter. Open the roll on that motion. close the roll.
8 ayes, 2 no.
Okay. That'll be the order for the moment. Next order, Madam Clerk.
Next item is public comments.
It's bad
on-
when you can see. I have only one request for public comment. Mr. Richard Robinson.
Mr. President, members of council, uniting Los Angeles' extremely diverse neighborhoods is a formidable process that will be made easier if the neighborhood council concept that had been a part of past charter revision Joel, when that concept is revised and made a part of the document, the appointed and elected charter reform commissions are presently producing for the voters, the city will be united. Mr. Wax, you reintroduced the concept years ago. Joel, you stated the electorate when given its neighborhood councils will be able to unite the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Is there anyone else wishing to address the council at this time? Yes, ma'am. I didn't get a card from you, but would you like to come to the microphone and state your name and address? And the sergeant will get your card from you.
This is on the next item.
On which item, ma'am?
972130 CD10.
Madam Clerk, did that item already pass?
2130? Yes, that was item number 3.
Just a moment, please. Ma'am, that item has already been adopted, but as a courtesy, would you like to go ahead and make your comments, because I think you should be heard.
My name is Loretta Jones. I live at 3530 West 7th Street. We are neighbors for a better life, and we're very concerned about the Galleria. As you know, that the environment will be impacted. There are already no parking spaces in that area, and there are already problems that are existing. We are concerned about the number of liquor licenses that they'll have. There's an overconcentration and an oversaturation of liquor licenses in that area now. And so we're concerned about that. We want to call your attention to it at this time.
Thank you very much. That'll close the public. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to address the council? That closes the... Ma'am, I see another person. Would you like to... Please, I don't have a card for you, so please come forward and state your name and address. I've just gotten a new card here. Jody Fairfax?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Hello. I live at 715 South Normandy, number 325. I'm real concerned about all the shootings and stabbings, the fights, the harassment. There's a lot of police helicopters going over our neighborhood, and that's not because it's crime prevention, but because there's so many problems in the neighborhood, and they always come out when there are problems, instead of like patrolling the area to keep the peace. And recently there were shootings in my neighborhood. They were so loud I couldn't quite tell where they were coming from. But I'm not going to take any chances with my baby's life, so I'm ducking, from the windows and everything to make sure that my baby and I don't get hurt. And I never heard gunfire that loud before, so close, And also on my street, when I first moved into the neighborhood, within a 2-week period, there were 2 murders, 1 block from my home. I walk my baby and a 4-year-old girl home from Children's Institute International every day, Monday through Friday, which is butt up against the parking lot to the Wilshire Galleria. And there's just so many children coming out of that school on a daily basis, and I really think it's not wise to have establishments selling liquor around those areas. You have drunk drivers coming out of that business area. Also, one of the members of our coalition is the chief of police's niece, and she was hit by a drunken driver and could have gotten killed. And there's always problems of this nature in the neighborhood where people are racing around the neighborhood while they're intoxicated. We have people also sleeping on couches that are left on the curbside because they're drunk. And we have people defecating and urinating in public up against our apartment buildings and everywhere else. We have fights on the corner. On the corners, a lot of people hang out and just drink, like in front of the liquor stores. And even when a woman is walking with her husband and child, they still make harassing and lewd remarks and make the husbands angry to where they want to fight, because of what these people are doing. And we really need to make the neighborhood safer and put children and people first. And we have way too many liquor licenses in the neighborhood. And these problems are all stemming because of the overconcentration of alcohol in our neighborhood.
Thank you, Ms. Fairfax. And I would also suggest that all of you see your council member, Councilman Holden, to express your concerns to him. Ma'am, do you wish to speak to? Go right ahead.
I have photographs of parking spaces. They claiming that they have enough parking spaces there, but I could see here it's all full, even as now. So if you might consider take this into an evidence of parking
All
structure
right,
there,
the
please.
sergeant will take that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Susan Kim, and I work with the Korean American Foundation of New Generations there. And mostly what I'm concerned about is I'm known in Koreatown with the people with teenagers, where they go and what they do there. And even as right now, it's really crowded. I mean, all the businesses with the nightclubs and with the liquor license there, it's already full. I mean, that's my opinion, and the things it goes on with the nightclubs in there, it's mostly a lot of teenagers go in there and they drink there and they sell it to teenagers and minors there, and it's the ones existing already is already there, and they're applying for another one, and it's going to cause more problems there with the another children and other minors and teenagers there, and we're really concerned in Koreatown. And I'm speaking for the lot of Koreans there, and mothers and parents, they're really concerned about having another one up in our town. We think we have enough there. So that's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to address the council? If not, the public hearing is closed. Next order, Madam Clerk.
Item number 6 on the agenda.
That's for executive session? No. We can decide that open. Okay. Mr. Ferraro, would you kindly see somebody about something? And we can then open the roll. Ms. Goldberg, are you on number 6?
I did want to ask a question.
All right. Chair recognizes Councilwoman
It's just not a
Goldberg.
closed session question. And it
6 will be an open session.
Yes, it's not a closed session question. The closed session questions they've answered for me. the question I have has to do with the use of bonds to pay these judgments and/or settlements. And the question I have is that as we get very close to the 10% bond, bonding capacity, before which the rating changes on our bonds, as I understand it, did we explore other avenues besides using bonds to pay this? Like just from the general fund?
Jerry Miller with the City Administrative Officer. The problem here, of course, is the potential liability in the case. It could be up to $50 million. And quite frankly, it's an issue of cash availability. The interest rate on the bonds, it's also an economic issue. The interest rate on the bonds today would be less than 4.5%. Once these judgments are entered into, they carry an interest rate at 7%. So it's in our financial interest as well to pay them off as quickly as possible.
I see.
And the statement on financial interest, the first statement he made, our reserve fund is roughly $18 million now. We could never come up with $50 million to pay this off.
But it's not $50 million all at once.
Yes, unless we pay it over time like this. It's a $50 million liability.
So the GM judgment was $50 million?
Yes.
For just General Motors?
No, there's a whole series of business clients that the taxing will be different. And the judge, we don't particularly agree, but our attorneys appealed it all the way, felt that we gave undue advantage to city businesses in town versus out of town, and made us change the way we tax. It's been in existence for 50-odd years, but we lost. And now we had to restructure it. Now we've created a clear advantage.
Is there any reason to appeal it to the California Supreme Court?
They did, didn't they?
No, in 71, but
No,
this is a federal court?
we did appeal. This was a state court of appeal decision. We petitioned the Supreme Court, and it was denied.
I see. So they're not going to hear it?
No.
And there's no place to go from there?
No other place to go.
So, and the number 50 million is derived by adding up
All the various
plaintiffs
businesses.
or
yeah.
the potential plaintiffs?
Yes, all the potentials that are claiming, and that's just a rough order of magnitude of how much it is.
Well, I really hate to use bonding for this, but I guess there's no choice. And it says under current market conditions, bonds could be sold at a lower rate than the 7% provided under state statute.
Substantially lower.
Okay.
Chair recognizes Councilman Walters.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council members, I'm sure all of you have received this chart from Mr. Comrie that's attached to his report on our debt capacity update. You will notice in there that the yellow line represents the bond indebtedness for this particular lawsuit, and I was assured that it did indeed, at the special meeting this morning, that it did indeed include all of the debt for that's expected for this particular case, for judgments from this particular case. But that still does not remove the concern about the bonding. And the thing that this chart shows, Mr. Comrie has marked the 10% line here. Some years ago, an economist from First Interstate told us that 10% was really the limit beyond which we did not wish to go with respect to indebtedness before we were at risk for having our credit rating reduced by the bond houses. You will note from this chart that we go to 12% indebtedness in the year 2003, and in the year 2006 and 2005 and 2006 it's slightly above 12%. I think that is at the projected rate we're going, and I think we're on thin ice indeed. Mr. Comrie explained yesterday in Budget and Finance that while this is the years 2005 and 2006 as a percentage are higher than the 12%. In actual dollars, they are not. But we are really too far out there with respect to our indebtedness. We're financing our governance with debt. This particular bond issue that we're talking about now, part of it will go to pay off another borrowing that we did to pay off in this case. So we're paying debt with debt. And that is risky behavior, and I just hope the council will keep that in mind as we face the budget season coming up, and as these items come before us on ways to generate money.
Chair recognizes Councilman Hernandez.
Mr. Connery, in terms of the bond debt, we've already heard from your office that we only have 18 million in reserves, so we can't pay it any other way. And when you sent us this report, it was to make us aware of the projected or potential rating impact and where we're sitting at right now. If our rating was to change, because you said you would be asking the bond raters to not change our rating, but if it was to change, how much of an impact would that have on our general fund per year, per point change?
We'd have to do some work. I don't think we've done any samples yet, and it's usually measured in basis points or and Jerry's indicating 10 basis points. This is 1/10 of 1%, so it depends on how much debt in the future we issued. It's a double problem for us. The reason we'd like to stay within those ranges, it's just not the new debt we would issue. It's kind of a loss of acceptability to the old bondholders too, because their bonds become less valuable. So all we indicated from that report, and is something we always submit at least annually, but sometimes a couple times a year, is there are a lot of proposals on the table. We need to move cautiously. There will be a way to handle it. For example, the sidewalk proposal before you, which would correct all our sidewalk problems, is not proposed as a bond issue, but a special tax, and it would not impact this. And
Right.
And there may be a way to approach other capital needs the same way in the future, or scale them back.
Now, this potential liability arose because of what? The liability we're being asked to pay for now in the judgment.
The business community felt there was a difference in taxes, and it was an advantage to people inside versus outside the city. It got quite convoluted at the court level. What we had to do was change the way we tax insiders and outsiders. They felt there was an advantage to one of them. Our attorneys really didn't agree in the process, but it was a theoretical advantage.
Those are about the same facts we're facing with this asphalt cut fee that we're basically trying to impose right now.
There'll be similar arguments that they don't want to pay the fee, yes.
Thank you.
All right, is there any further discussion? Item 6. Open the roll. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
All right, the report is approved. The ordinance will be back before us 1 week from today on second reading. Next order, Madam Clerk.
Item number 9.
Is item 9 executive session, Madam Clerk? Can that be? All right, any discussion on item number 9? Open the roll. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
All right, that's approved. Next order, Madam Clerk.
Closed session items.
All right, would the sergeant prepare the council for executive session? We'll go to item number 5 first.
The council will recess to closed session pursuant to Government Code 54956.9B1 on item number 5.
All right.
Second item for closed session is 28A.
Okay. Members of council, the mayor's budget team would request to be in executive session on item 5. Is without objection, that'll Mr. Violante, Mr. Timer, Mr. Roth. Ms. Roth, yeah. Ms.
Mr.
Walters?
President, I was out of the room on the vote on item 6, and so it's going to second reading. I'd like to be recorded as an aye vote for that, so that you have the 12 votes.
Yeah, but you can't when you're out of the room, and
I was right out here.
there are only 11 anyway.
It would only be 11. All right.
He will be back in a short while. We have to do item 5. We have to vote on item 5. Yeah, but there may not be 8 votes. All right, members of council, let's go back into open session. Can we make sure all the council members are here? We're back on item number 5. We have a motion to vote on second reading ordinances A and B, and a motion to substitute by Ms. Walters for C. Let's open the roll first on A and B. Close the roll.
9 ayes, 2 no.
All right, those are approved. Now we have, since we clear the roll, we have the substitute motion on C. Open the roll on the motion to substitute. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
All right, that's approved. We'll withhold on that, and it'll be before us on second reading 1 week from today.
Yeah, Mr. President, on A and B, I'd like to be shown voting same as Mr. Fuhr and Ms. Check. It won't change the outcome of the vote.
You want to change your vote?
Yeah.
Record Mr. Hernandez as having intended to have voted no. Well, then I can't, because then we've got it'll change the results. Mr. Alarcon is moving reconsideration of items A and B.
So moved.
Open the roll on the motion to reconsider. Close the roll.
7 ayes, 4 no.
It's not reconsidered. Then the item stands as it was. Next order, Madam Clerk.
Number 5 is amended.
No. That's going to be back.
The desk is clear.
All right. Would the audience and the council please rise for adjourning motions? Mr. Alarcon?
You're okay. I'm trying to find what we're supposed to be doing.
I'm sorry, I don't have the information in front of me, but I wanted to ask that we adjourn in the memory of the daughter of Phil Henning, our Assistant General Manager at Personnel. Oh, okay, then I would like to be a co-author.
Are there any others, members of council? Mr. Council President, Mr. Ridley Thomas, go ahead.
Mr. President, I'd ask that all members join me in adjourning in memory of Dr. Thomas Kilgore, Jr., Pastor Emeritus of the Second Baptist Church, former CRA Commissioner, and generally speaking, a leading light in the city of Los Angeles. Pastor Kilgore passed this morning and is survived by his wife, Jeanette, 2 daughters, several grandchildren, and a host of family members and friends, and a very grateful city for his considerable talent, which he generously shared, as well as his rather unusual degree of integrity with respect to the dispatch of his duties and caring for people, as well as the way in which he approached public policy, people-centered, in a way that would make Los Angeles yet more humane.
Mr. Holden and Ms. Walters.
Mr. President, I'm going to join with the Chairman, memory of Dr. Thomas Kilgore. He's been a longtime resident of the 10th District, and he is well known for being involved in the civil rights movement, not just in the local area of Los Angeles, but across the country. Dr. Kilgore is very well known. He was the founder of many organizations which achieved a lot of success in bringing about equal rights for all, regardless of race, sex. Certainly, people like Dr. Kilgore don't come along and visit with us on the planet Earth often. And for that reason, certainly, we'll always remember him because he was unique, an outstanding individual, and he stood up for all of us. We're going to miss him. I also got 2 others, unfortunately, but they're here. Miss Florence McCloskey, she's a longtime member of the district and the Church of the Advent, community activist. Also, Ms. George Robertson, Jr., a longtime member of the 10th District as well. We ask that we join in that memory as well.
Okay. Ms. Walters.
Yes, and I'm sure all members will wish to join in this one. It is for Matsuko Furuta, who was the mother of Sam Furuta, the city engineer. She is survived by her husband, Masami Furuta, daughter Peggy Furuta Tom, son Sam Furuta. She passed away on Saturday and will be missed by all. I'd also like to offer just a few recollections of Dr. Tom Kilgore. Some of us may recall that shortly after Dr. Tom Kilgore came here and took over the parish of, or parish and the saint, no, he wasn't Catholic. He took over Baptist Church, Second Baptist Church, the oldest African-American congregation in the city, that when Dr. King came to Los Angeles, very often he found himself at Second Baptist Church. He and Dr. Kilgore were very close friends, and some may even recall that it was Dr. Tom Kilgore who delivered the eulogy at Dr. King's funeral. Dr. Kilgore worked all the time that I knew him, and I became acquainted with him early in his ministry here, that he worked for understanding and love between the races and the various socioeconomic levels in the city. He was a constant voice of reason and of peace, and we should not only offer our condolences to his family, but also to our colleague, Mark Ridley Thomas. He was especially fond of Mark and took a real interest in being a mentor to him. And so I know that all of us feel a sense of loss on his passing.
all members on Dr. Kilgore. Ms. Goldberg?
Yeah, I just want to add a couple of words as well. He was a major influence in my life as well. In the 1960s, he organized a number of teenagers across, again, all racial and ethnic lines, into a tutoring project, which was really one of the very first things I ever did as an activist. I can't remember, I think it was the Avalon Community Center, I'm pretty sure it was, but we would go after school and tutor kids, and found out, of course, as he only too well knew, that we learned as much as we helped. But it was a life changing event in my life. It put me on a road around civil rights that I don't think any other experience would have, because it was his goal, and his whole life was around ending racial isolation. And racial isolation, I'm here to tell you, doesn't only happen to people of color. In fact, just the opposite. It happens to everybody. That's the definition of racial isolation, is we're all isolated. And he spent his life devoted to giving people an opportunity to break down that racial isolation. And I am the better for it, and as we all were. And I will miss him as well.
Capacity to change lives is what great people do. Council President Ferraro and I also would like the council to adjourn in the memory of Frank Schisler, who was the Sergeant-at-Arms here in the council in the early 70s, and we'll give the clerk the pertinent information. Call the roll, Madam Clerk. Council is adjourned.